Hi, my name is Zakir Kumar. I'm here today to propose to delete the current software used to initially generate names for the terror watch list. What exactly is a terror watch list? Well, the terror watch list, also known as the no-fly list, keeps an updated compilation of individuals who poses potential terror threats to the United States. When an individual's name is placed on such a list, it becomes very hard for him or her to fly. That person would have to go through an extensive screening process before being allowed to board an airplane. Sometimes even a background check is required.
Chad Colton, spokesman for the Federal Terrorist Screening Center, said there is a pretty vigorous process of evaluating information. If and when an investigation is completed and someone is found not to have a connection to terrorism, that would generate an FBI request to remove that person from the terrorist watch list.
However, the specific criteria used to generate these names to put on the terror watch list is very secretive, and understandably so, because it is a matter of national security. However, one thing is certain, there is software used to initially generate names for this list. Software that is able to separate names that are predominantly American or Caucasian from names that have more of a Middle Eastern or Islamic or South Asian descent. If a name is of such a descent, then it's very possible that person can be placed on such a list. This list now is growing at a rapid pace and now contains more than 1 million names.
Azadeh Shashani, director for the National Security Immigration Rights Project for the ACLU Foundation of Georgia, said, "It is not exactly clear how an individual is placed on a watch list. Placement appears to be a highly subjective process, subject to the discretion of invisible and unaccountable security officials." The database used to produce the government's terror watch list is crippled by technical flaws, according to Representative Brad Miller of North Carolina. In order to fix these flaws, the Federal Terrorist Screening Center has implemented the National Terrorism Railhead Initiative, which is designed to upgrade the government's master database of suspected terrorists. However, when commenting on this Railhead initiative, Representative Miller stated that if it is actually deployed, it will leave our country more vulnerable than the existing yet flawed system in operation today, and is on the verge of collapse. And here's an interesting fact: 20 known terrorists were not on the terror watch list. And if you recall correctly, it took 19 terrorists to pull down the World Trade Centers on the September 11 attacks of 2001.
So, this leaves many questions. First of all, do you know anybody on the terrorist watch list? Well, I don't know about you, but I am actually, at one point, I was on the terror watch list. This was when I was 15 years old. I boarded an airplane with a white friend of mine who was 16 years old, and he boarded the plane before me. He was not asked for any ID. However, when I stepped on the plane and my name was flashed up on the screen, I was taken aside for questioning. When I was 15 years old.
So the main problem with the terror watch list is that it spreads unnecessary fear among citizens. Fear that is specifically attached to Islamic-sounding names. For some in our society, such names carry a negative connotation, which leads to decreasing tolerance of the entire religion. This is a dangerous trend.
I think Colin Powell said it best in his endorsement of Barack Obama. Take a look at this video.
I'm also troubled by not what Senator McCain says, but what members of the party say. And it is permitted to be said such things as, well, you know that Mr. Obama is a Muslim. Well, the correct answer is he is not a Muslim. He's a Christian. He's always been a Christian. But the really right answer is, what if he is? Is there something wrong with being a Muslim in this country? The answer is no. That's not America. Is there something wrong with some 7-year-old Muslim American kid believing that he or she could be president? Yet I have heard senior members of my own party drop this suggestion. He's a Muslim and he might be associated with terrorists. This is not the way we should be doing it in America.
So after watching Colin Powell's video, let's go through the logical flow of ideas one more time. First, we have the software that is used to initially place names on the terror watch list. This software mainly targets those of Middle Eastern and South Asian names. This, in turn, causes way too many false positives, or in other words, too many innocent people are labeled as terrorists on the terror watch list. This is a blatant form of racial profiling that is unacceptable in today's world. Jean Twenge, author of the best-selling generational novel Gen Me, states that today's America is more and more cosmopolitan, and such attitudes towards those of Middle Eastern descent is simply unacceptable. She also says that such instances of racial profiling are clear examples of over-prejudice and discrimination against Arabs. This discrimination has other direct outlets in society, as described by Colin Powell.
So I propose to delete the software that is used to initially generate names on the terror watch list. or at least use these names to be only the beginning of extensive investigation before placing these names on the terror watch list. And there should be a much greater criteria for any such software used that is used to place names on the terror watch list, and there should be more extensive screening and searches of all passengers at airports. This in turn will be more fair for those of Middle Eastern and South Asian descent and stop blatant racial profiling. Let's look at the pros and cons of such a proposal.
First, for the pros. The deletion of the software would get rid of the large number of false positives, which would help stop the extensive racial profiling. Both of these together would move to eliminate fear associated with South Asian and Middle Eastern names. This would also allow the younger generations to grow up without such a stigma attached to such names and religions, therefore creating a better tomorrow in which there are even more peaceful interracial reactions. The only cons would be the few correct positives that could potentially be omitted from the list, but seeing that 20 known terrorists were not on the list proves the true ineffectiveness of the current software and methods used. Provided the criteria for inclusion on the list is more thoroughly evaluated and airport security checks become tighter and more extensive, the deletion of terrorist software should have no negative effects on society.
In conclusion, I strongly urge you to consider putting my proposal into action so we can change from a society of fear to a society that exemplifies equality of all races and religions. I'm Ankit Kumar, and thanks for watching.